All right.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for making the time. I am Lisa Corrado. I am a coach who works with small business owners, entrepreneurs to help you cut the overwhelm so you can realize your next level vision, whatever that is. For some people, that's more revenue, more clients, more programs, bigger. For some people, it's more ease, it's more balance, it's more time for themselves. So whatever the next level vision is, I'm here for it. And that's what we work on. And I'm really excited about this topic today. We're going to talk about creating your business manifesto. It's a big word, and I think it is appropriate. What we're going to do is really mine the inner goal that you have to really dive into wording and messaging that really helps you personalize your message. So if you are in a business that isn't a crowded field. I'm a coach, right? How many coaches are there in the world? A bazillion, probably. Yeah. Right. So how do I stand out in a crowd? How do you stand out in a crowd? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And also see how you can use the messaging that you come up with. So this is going to be a workshop. I'm going to do a little talking, but there's going to be a lot of time for you to work on the worksheets that I've given you. And so I think, do you need the worksheets, Elizabeth? We have other copies.
No,
okay.
I don't anymore.
Okay, perfect. And then let me say for the people online, hello, I'm looking right at you. And if you still need to get a copy of the worksheets, go ahead and do that. And if you have them, great. Okay, so what we're really talking about is how do you wrap your personal messaging around what you do so you stand out in a crowd. I want to show you where we are in the process. So I have a blueprint that I work through with my clients. We start with the vision. What's the outcome you want to have? What's the impact you want to have? What are your goals?
I have just one quick technical.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just going to get out of the slideshow view. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so it works. There we go. Good. Does this work?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Fine.
Great.
That's fine. Okay. Everybody online, does this look fine for you? You can see everything?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Great. So in the blueprint, the process that we go through, vision, like I said, the first thing, goals, impact, outcomes. What do you want to make happen? And this is the sandbox that we're playing in today, vision. So we're going to be very firmly in here. And I want to share the rest of it with you so you see how it all works together. The next bucket is strategy. So what are the choices and the decisions that you make that support your vision? And some of you were on my strategy talk last night. So you remember that we talked a lot about, it's all about choices, right? So choices is another word for strategy. Planning, we talk about what are the action steps that you need to take in order to support your strategy and make your vision come true. So this is the action. And then implementation, it's working the plan, right? So this is the everyday work that you do. It's the action that you take. And then celebration. It's so important to celebrate regularly, not just those huge finish line moments, but the daily ones too. So like when you get an email out that you've been avoiding, celebrate that. You know, when you have a tough conversation or you have that hard phone call, celebrate that. It creates so much juice and energy and fuel to help keep you moving forward. And then we wrap everything with accountability. So this is staying true to your vision for your business and you as the business owner. So staying accountable to yourself and also mindset. Always cultivating a growth mindset, a positive mindset. So you can see this dress wraps around everything because that's always, this is always stuff we need to do, okay? So again, today we are playing in the vision sandbox. This is one part of vision. And we're gonna start with what I believe. So this is where we start to really mine the inner gold. And I guess I'll just flip to this next slide. What I believe is really pulling out what's true for you personally. Like this is the hill that you're willing to die on. This is what is really what you want to communicate. It's what's true for you. It's what's true for your business. And it's what you believe to be true for the people and that you work with, your clients, your customers, your team. So you can see here, I've got my example of what I believe. And it's really, it's what I believe is true for my clients and what they can experience, part of what they can experience through the coaching that I do. So you may have other things. Of course, we have other things that we believe personally. And they, there might be things about, your personal life or your family life that don't quite have a place in here. This is really, since we're building your business manifesto, we're really focused on what is true for your business. So for example, I believe you get to choose your definition of success. I believe we all get to do that. There isn't one definition of success. That can be a place where people can get a little tripped up, especially with social media, marketing. Everybody looks so great online, but it's really making sure that you are staying true for what is success for you. So for some people, that's a lot of money. For some people, that's not. For me, my definition of success, freedom. That's the first thing, freedom. I believe you can do work you love with people you love. I believe everyone has the courage to take powerful action that gets results. It takes a lot of courage to run your own business. It takes a lot of courage to maybe step away from something that was like, I left corporate 20 years ago. That took a lot of courage. And I know that entrepreneurs, small business owners, you're taking courageous steps every single day. I believe that you can easily get past your roadblocks. So we have, limiting beliefs, inner gremlins, broken soundtracks. These are things that can be worked on, dismantled, cleaned up. I believe taking action is more important than knowing more. And this can fall in a limiting belief a little bit, like, oh, I need to learn more before I do something. No, I feel like move and learn from that, move and learn from it. And sometimes you're going to slip up. Sometimes it's not going to go the way you want, but who cares? That's a learning, so you can always regroup and redo it. And above all, I firmly believe you have permission to live your life purpose. So I'm hoping I'm kind of communicating the force with which I believe these things. This is what I truly, truly believe. And it's interesting. I wrote these, I don't know, probably a couple of years ago at this point. And every time I do this, I'm taking another look at them. I'm like, yep, that is still true for me. And you might write your list and at some point think, things want to shift a little bit. I'm going to add something. I'm going to take something away. That's great. This is your list. You get to do what you want with it. So these are some examples. So this speaks to the first worksheet that we have. And we're a little ambitious with how many lines we have here. Please do not feel you need to write 20 beliefs. I've got 6 here, and I think 4 to 6 is a good number because otherwise the message gets too long and there's a lot to wade through. In fact, I feel like maybe I might tighten this up at one point. So I want to give you a little time to go through this and write down things that you believe. And here's the preface I'm going to say with all of these exercises. You are going to write some things down now, and then it's going to percolate and it's going to sit with you. And as you sit with it, things are going to shift and change, or you're going to come up with new ideas. So I would encourage you to give yourself sometime after this presentation, later today, tomorrow, later this week, whatever, and revisit this and just keep dipping into it and playing with it. Okay. What else do I want to tell you about this? I think that's it. I think I'm going to give you a few minutes. I'm not going to give you a lot of time because this isn't a thinking thing. This is a feeling thing, right? Anybody can think and people can share the same thoughts, but when you pour your feeling into this, that's how one way you're putting your personal stamp on it so that you stand out from everybody else. So if you're in a row of people who all do the same thing as you, they're not all going to feel the same way. They're not going to have the same beliefs. This is how you connect with the people who are right for you. And if you get a little hung up, if you have a question, I want this to be interactive. So that means you can ask me a question.
like yours.
Was it coffee? Yeah, just coffee mine, that's fine. Yeah, so actually joking aside, if any of this really resonates for you, just take it. That's fine. We can believe the same things, absolutely. But I
I'm
know
confused. Is this about life or is this about your business?
it's what you believe for the people that you're doing business with, and it's what you believe about your business. So it's not like, you know, I believe this about my family, unless your family is part of the business. It's really like, these are things that I believe my clients, I believe anybody can have, whether or not we work together. So this is what I say when I start working with somebody. This is what I believe is true for you.
Julie's asking whether do you want the questions formatted like a question. Maybe Julie, you want to unmute yourself to clarify what you mean. Ask her to unmute. There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just wondering for the people that are online in my other type of online programs, because chat tends to go on. We always position a question so you can find it very easily in the chat. So it's always like hashtag question. Is that how you want it formatted?
I would say do it any way that you want, because we've got somebody monitoring the chat, so it won't get lost.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Fine. Plus, I'd like to see all the comments. So if, you know, the virtual people, if you have comments, if you want to share anything, that's just do it in the chat and just put it out there. Don't worry about how it's formatted. Great question, Julie. Thank you.
I noticed yours is more, feels like it's individual, because you say you get to choose, you can do the work. As I'm writing mine, I'm putting everyone can choose.
Okay.
What's the difference? Like, is there a difference?
There is a difference. So I guess I'd ask you, what's the difference? Like for me, I think in terms of the individuals that I'm working with, but I could have easily said everyone gets to choose your definition of success. I think it's what the wording that makes sense to you, because you want to own this, right? This is your thing. So you want to say it the way it makes sense to you.
Okay.
I think in this case, it's probably interchangeable.
Yeah.
And I have my, just so you know, I'm keep looking at my phone just for the clock, because there isn't a clock in here and I don't want to scramble at the end. I don't know.
In the drawer behind you.
So I'm going to give you another minute or two on this. And I don't want it to be so much thinking as opposed to, your gut putting stuff on the paper. So maybe another 30 seconds. Okay. So start to wrap up the one thing that you're writing. Remember, you can always go back to this. Think of this as your first draft. This is great percolating stuff. And I'm curious to hear if anybody was surprised by anything that they wrote down, or does one of your beliefs feel so much stronger than other beliefs? Like, is there something that is really like the alpha? Like, yeah, I'm always going to lead with this. This is the part where people speak back to me.
I think what surprised me, I mean, I guess it's that, you kind of know it, but when you write them down, you kind of just articulate it, they become more practical statements. But it's interesting that these beliefs, although they are for the business, or well, for clearly thinking about HAYVN, they have a lot to do with my own values and the way that I approach my own life. So it's just interesting to see how they overlap.
Yeah. That's a great point. I'm glad that you use the word values, because these really will naturally reflect your values. And we do, outside of this, we do other exercises where we really do values mining and really tap into values. So we use them in a lot of ways. So that's a great instinct there.
Leanne has a question. Leanne, you want to mute yourself?
Yeah, Lil, you want to?
Hi, yes, thank you for doing this. I particularly wanted to take this because I have sort of two areas that I'm working in. I sell artwork, but I also teach art classes to people to make the artwork. And I've been struggling with trying to come up with something that unifies both of them. And this really kind of put it together, because whether I'm teaching or whether I'm selling it, these things are still the core beliefs behind both of them. So that was kind of really interesting to me. And helpful, because that's what I was looking for.
Good. I'm so happy to hear that. You're going to love the rest of this too. Yeah, no, that's good. And I think it goes back to Malu's point. We're really tapping into values here, right? So that's coming through in these exercises. Thank you. Yeah, Stephanie.
I actually wrote down your brand is an extension of your highest self. And I think your values, when those are expressed, manifested, is an extension of your highest self. I think that all kind of plays in the same space.
Yeah, love that. That's powerful. When you say that to somebody, they're going to have that same reaction. Ooh, tell me more. Yeah, and then there's the lean in, right? Yeah, love that. That's really good. And I think one of the things I want to say is all the stuff that we're creating, you get to decide how you use this. So some of this may be, I'll be honest, here's the little secret. A lot of it is clarity for you, right? It's a lot of it is the inner work. So you know how you want to show up and how you want to communicate and how you want to differentiate yourself. And you can also use it very specifically in your marketing, on your website, in your social media, in your videos, your speaking engagements. Like, you can see how each one of these points could be a whole blog post, right? I do a weekly newsletter, and these are always threads that run through. This is how you get some consistency with me, because these tenets are always coming through. And if you said something like your brand is, say it again, your brand is
an extension of your highest self.
Yeah. I see that on the website, right? Yeah, like that's really great, but maybe not my things, right? But I will share them. So you get to decide all of this that we're creating, you get to decide how this gets presented to people directly. Some of it may be great for you, and some of it may be, oh, I want to specifically say this to potential clients or to my audience. Okay. Anyone else have anything they want to share on this exercise?
On that note, I sort of started with that inner work. I'm in the beginning of my business and needing to step more fully into it and sort of, be there and get there personally. So it sort of started with, I did like your, believe that you have permission to live your purpose, each person. So I sort of started with personal things and then went into more sort of public facing beliefs.
Yeah.
But it's helpful to do that inner work. I like how you talk about it, that it's both.
Good. And I can see, based on different types of businesses. Like I do very personal, intimate work. I do coaching with people, right? But if let's say I had a storefront where I sold running shoes, you know, I might talk more about like, I believe people really need exercise in their lives, or I really believe like, you know, the right clothing really helps you in your different activities. So it can kind of shift based on what your business is too. Okay. Okay, good. All right, I want to move on to the Business Manifesto piece. And then there's another piece after that. We'll see if we'll be able to dive into that fully. No matter what, you're going to be able to do it. So we did some quick inner gold mining. Like I said, you'll want to sit with this, let it percolate a little bit, see what else comes up. If you want to do some brainstorming on values, like just some words that make sense to you, that's just more fuel, more stuff that you can use. But now let's shift into the Business Manifesto. Okay, the title of the top, the Business Manifesto. So this is simply completing these sentences, and it's another way to pull in your personal beliefs, thoughts, messaging, how you want to show up. This is a huge way to differentiate yourself from the person next to you if you're both doing the same things. I've had people say like, well, you know, one of a potential limiting belief is, well, why should I start this business? There's so many people doing this. And I always say, no one's going to do it like you, right? No one's going to talk about it like you. No one's going to feel about it like you. And you're going to connect with these people. Someone else doing the same thing, they're going to connect with these people. And that's okay, right? You don't need everybody in the world to work with you. You need your ideal clients to work with you. So again, we're really finding like, how do you personalize your messaging so you stand out? This is another way. This might wind up on your website. It might wind up in your outgoing messaging. It might just stay in your brain. You know, it might just help you with that. So these are sentences that we're going to complete, and probably the easiest way for me to share this is to show mine. And then I'll let you move on to the second worksheet. So I am, and these answers could be anything. They don't have to match like how I've structured them or anything like that. These are true for you, but here's my example. I am grateful to have a business that brings me money and freedom. I believe everyone can have the same thing. And now that I say that out loud, I want to change that. I believe everyone can live their definition of success, right? I love the freedom that comes from doing what you love with people you love. For me, that's the whole point of having your own business. It's so much work. It's so hard. If you don't love it, you might as well get a job, right? What I know for sure is we are always more powerful than we think. I have never been happier than when I realize I have time. I dream of traveling the world and making lasting connections. I was born to help people see their possibilities and make them happen. What I want most in the world is freedom. So that's my highest value. Freedom is always, when I do values work, the ones underneath might change and shift. Freedom is always number one. It's like tattooed. I shine when I help clients next level their business. I feel most alive when my actions, what I'm doing, honors my values, total alignment. My superpower is, and you have to answer this too, my superpower is seeing what others don't yet see for themselves. I work best with purpose-driven action takers who love what they do. I can help you be your best self. Okay, so this is my example. You are going to have different answers. Let's shift over to worksheet number 2. And again, you are not coming out with your final draft immediately, right? We're going to play with this. So you're going to answer these, you're going to complete these sentences. You're going to let it sit. You're going to let it percolate. Then you're going to touch back into it and see what makes sense for you. And I could see this being something that you like play with over the next several days, right? Depending on your schedule. But this should feel like play. This should feel like play. So let me give you some time now. And again, it's feeling. So the first, you're going to complete each sentence. So the first sentence starts with I am. You complete the sentence. Sentence number 2, I believe. You complete the sentence. Go with your gut. Know that you can erase. Know that you can cross out. Know that you can redo it.
Can you do them out of order?
Yeah, do them out of order, sure. If one's easier than another,
Yeah,
do
so
it.
like one seems easier than the other.
Do it out of order, absolutely. And if you feel like you're getting stuck on a particular one, skip it. Move to the next. Follow that free energy. You find yourself kind of spinning on one or kind of stalled on one, go to another one. This is really meant to come from inside you, not your brain, but how you feel. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes on this. And however much you have complete is perfect.
It's easy to overthink it, right? You're sometimes just like, oh, let me think about it. But sometimes you have that answer right at the tip of the tongue because you live it every day. So interesting.
Well, and you saw when I was introducing it, I read one, I was like, oh, I think I want to change this.
Yeah.
I've gone through this. Like I ran through these, but today saying it out loud, I was like, oh, you know, the last time I did this, I think was in January. So these made sense, but there was one I wanted to tweak a little bit, and that's
I
okay.
think as your business grows and you grow, right? Yeah, the answers are going to change over time.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, as your business grows and evolves, as you evolve as the business owner, things make more sense. Okay, so I'm really curious to hear if people want to share like one that was so easy for them, like you couldn't write fast enough to get it on the paper.
I could go first if someone's.
Sure, go ahead.
The one was my superpower, and I just leave it every day when I'm at work. I'm like 1%. I'm at home too. When presented with a problem or with a business or operations problem, I can see the process. I mean, like from beginning to end, to either create a better one, improve it, streamline it, make it more effective. It just comes to me.
You and me, mechanic-y, yeah.
So that was that was one of the first ones, which is so interesting.
Yeah. Who else had one that was just like boom, came out fully formed?
Well, the only one I could really answer, I'll go next.
Yeah.
Mine, apparently. I've never been happier than when I'm making things, whether I'm cooking, knitting, sewing, or gardening.
Nice. What's your business?
So I'm starting a lifestyle and accessory business.
Okay.
That is kind of based in the hygge. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a Danish kind of lifestyle of cozy comfort, simple things that bring pleasure on a budget.
Okay.
Awesome.
And I'm making things either with fiber or textiles. My textiles are all vintage at this point, so I'm trying to reclaim things. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so no wonder that came right out, right? That makes perfect sense now that you say that.
Do you have your card and it's just like right?
So I'm in the process of redesigning my logo.
Okay.
And possibly renaming it after.
Yeah, make sure share some information there.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Good. Who else? Anybody online? I want to make sure I'm looking at you guys, Julie or Lil or Catherine. Anybody want to share? Okay, Lil, go ahead.
I am unique.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice. Bam. I am unique.
And that's kind of a core value for what I provide clients to.
Yep. Great. Anyone else want to share anything that came up, or maybe one that you're like is just eluding you completely? Just not happening right now. Yeah, Sam.
I have the former, not the latter. So what it always comes to me is that I'm a poet, like first and so when I think business, it's like other people said, it's always about creation in some way. It's always about creativity and perception much more than it's about, say, business outcome. It's the ability to kind of see and intuit that for me is more important than kind of the nuts and bolts of business. It's to tie together the vision and the intuition to the outcome.
So you make a poem out of that. That's such a unique way to describe what you do, right? I love that. So I hope that comes through in your messaging too. Awesome. Good, thank you. Okay. Remember, this is a living, breathing thing. You will be able to go back to this over and over. And I'll be curious to hear too, if you feel called to, sometime after this, if you spend more time with it and new things come up, I'd love to, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear how this is working for you. I want to shift into a couple of things. One, we might run a little long with the mission statement, which is perfectly fine with me. But if people need to leave right at 1 or a little before, please feel free to do so. Not a problem. Let me do the wrap up first, because there are 2 resources I want to share with you, and then we're going to dive into the mission statement. And I will email everybody this as well. I've created something called a fast focus sheet. It's designed to help you when you sit down at your desk, what your priorities are in order for the day, and that they roll up into your strategy and your vision. So it's all designed to help you stay focused. I love it. I made it because I needed it. And then I share it with everybody, and it works really well. So I'll share this link so you're able to do that. But also, if you'd like to have a conversation about this, you want to go a little bit deeper on this, you want to talk about some strategy challenges, anything like that, we can have a phone call as well. So we can take a look at what might be getting in the way of the vision that you have. We'll find some opportunities. There are always ahas. This is a nice, fun, juicy call. There's also an opportunity, if you choose, to talk about how coaching with me might be good support for you. But we only do that if you decide that you want to do that. And we really dive into how can you get some nice, juicy stuff. So if you'd like to schedule that, I'd love to continue this conversation or anything else that's going on in your business. So I'll send this link, and that'll just go to the attendees as well. Those of you who made the effort to show up, I appreciate that. Okay, so let's talk about mission statement. So unlike the other 2, let me say it a different way. Mission statement might be more likely to be presented as it is in your marketing. So like my mission statement is on my homepage, right? I have it right there next to my photo. So that is one way that you can use this. Or it might be more clarifying for you. What I like about this though, is this starts to really, more so than the other languaging, it really allows your ideal clients to see their languaging, see their problems, see their issues in your statement, and then go, oh, I need to learn more about that. Oh, that's what I need. And it's very, very simple. It's very simple. And again, this is something that you might play with a lot. So here's the format. It starts with either I help or I work with. I prefer I work with, but I tend to interchange them. So that's who you serve, like who your specific client is. And then I help or I work with my clients to, this is what you do. What do you do with them? And then what are the results that they get? And there's some kind of power in the so that this thing happens. So it's saying, here's who you are. Here's what your challenge, here's what I'm going to help you with. Here's what's going to happen as a result. Here's what you're going to get. And then the optional thing is without, so something that they fear. So let me show you what this looks like. It's going to become clearer. This is my, let me do this. Okay. Yeah. I work with small business owners to cut through the overwhelm so that they achieve their next level vision. Okay. So the trigger word in there tends to be overwhelm, right? People say, if somebody really identifies with that, they're like, oh, we need to have a conversation, right? If somebody says, I'm not overwhelmed, well, I'm probably not the right person for them and they probably don't need me, right? So it's a nice way for people to self-select. And it's a nice way for your ideal clients to say, oh, that person's speaking my language. I'm also very specific, and sometimes I'll put even more here, not just small business owners, but it could be action-taking small business owners, purpose-driven small business owners. But I'm clear it's small business owners. I'm not working with people who are in corporate. I'm not working with people who are looking for purely a life coach. That's not the kind of coaching that I do. What are you going to get as a result? Well, you're going to achieve your next level vision. So kind of baked into that is, you're currently living your vision. You want to get to the next level. What does that look like? And I could add in I work with small business owners to cut through the overwhelm so that they achieve their next level vision without sacrificing their sanity. I'll be perfectly honest, I generally don't include that. I feel like what I say here, if the more focused you can be, the tighter it can be, the easier it is for someone to go yes or no, right? And that's what you want. You want quick decisions, yes or no. Okay. So I'm going to give you, this is the third worksheet. I've got the structure there. You can draft out your mission statement. And then I always encourage you to see, can you fine tune it? Can you tighten it? Can you make it even more focused? I feel like what's the right word here? Blanking on English. If you, the tighter and more focused you can make it, the easier it is for people to connect with it or not connect with it and realize like, oh, that's not me. You know, I don't own a small business. I don't feel overwhelmed. I'm good where I am. I don't feel like taking action. Okay, so people like that are going to read this and say, oh, I don't need her services, or she's not the right person for me. And that's great. That's great, right? Like, why waste everybody's time? So start to write this out for yourself. So, and this involves, this is simple, but it's a little deceptive in the amount of information that's in here. So who are your people? Like, you may know who are your people, but can you get even more focused with that? You know, it's not, I work with anyone, right? Because if you say I work with anyone, then nobody's going to connect with that. So getting really focused on who it is, what specifically you do. And here you want to find, in terms of what you do, you want to tie it to emotion, if possible. And you also want to, you notice I don't talk about how I do what I do. That's not the point here. We're not at that part of the conversation. I'm not sharing the medicine. I'm sharing the cure. So like, here's what you're going to get as a result. And then if they want to have a conversation, then we're going to talk about what the steps look like. Here's how it looks. But if you do this right, the medicine doesn't matter. The steps don't matter. If people want what you are offering and they know it and you're hitting them at the right time and you are clear that you're speaking their language. Like, I had a client sign up in January, and we did not talk about what it was going to look like, how it went, anything like that. She was like, that's it, you know. And if that happened all the time, that would be fantastic. Does it? Of course not. But she was like, I need that. Let's sign me up. Okay. So that's what we're looking for here. The people who are like that, I need that thing that you do. I need that. I'll give you a few minutes on this. Oh, we're great on time.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Yeah. So I have, my business is two facets. One, I have this planner that I sell. So that's a product that's obvious, you know, stuff in this. And then my other portion will be my personal creative work. So a photography and poetry book that's uniquely constructed and so on. So that's just deeply like, that's in all honesty, serving me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, in all honesty, that work is for me. It's pouring out through me. I don't do it for anybody else. I do it for me. Like, I do it because I have to do it.
Yeah.
Do you have any insights? Like, I'm fairly clear on my planner side of the spectrum, but then this other piece. Do you have any insights for that?
I wonder if you need to do this for that part.
That I maybe don't need to do it.
I think maybe you don't need to do it.
Interesting.
Sit with that and see. Like, are you selling that?
I will be selling.
You will be selling it. Okay. I think for now,
in a way to help it pay for itself, right? So that it can pay for me to do another one.
Right. Yeah, and I can see how you can come up with wording about, you know, enriching somebody. I'm totally, these might not be your words, but, you know, enriching someone's life, inspiring, bringing beauty, Yeah, making an emotional connection. But I would say, especially since they're two different things, I would focus on your planner right now.
Okay.
And I would say that with anybody, like if you do a couple of different things, focus on one, get that right. And then if the other one is different messaging or it's separate, then do that separately.
Okay, even if it's going to go all under the same umbrella.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because the person who's going to buy your planner might not be the person who's going to buy your artwork and vice versa. So you're probably serving two different populations there. And right now you're serving yourself.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And once somebody completes theirs, if you want to share it, I'd love to hear it. There's a lot of power in saying it out loud.
So mine is always challenging because, well, one, I have two businesses and I'm focusing on one business, and I do hands-on consulting.
Okay.
So I do a little bit of coaching for my earlier clients, but it's because when I first started consulting, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But the business has grown more with consulting, where I go in, I do assessments.
Okay.
And I simplify strategies, and I do a little bit of training. And it's like, sometimes I feel like I'm all over the place, but I do feel like I'm finally honing in on, I'm looking at the whole business, helping them first with strategy, then operations, and then it also spills over to marketing because we have to fix their marketing operations, right? So do I throw all that in the mission statement, or do I just kind of say something general like, you know, I'm helping, I always think of the word simplify, clarify, optimize, right? Your strategies. And I'm just thinking, is that enough? Is that a good umbrella term? Or sometimes I break it down. Like if you look at my website, like I'll break it down and say, you know, I work with business owners to simplify and optimize growth strategies, operations, and marketing.
Streamline.
That's how I'm always back and forth between like, do I break it down and do I do more top level and what's more appealing to the customer? So. Yeah,
so you used a lot of wording that I personally find appealing: streamlining, optimizing. These are powerful words. And I would say, including, you know, think again about how I said we're talking about the cure, not the medicine. So what's the cure? What do they get as a result? And then you can talk about the medicine. You know, then if you're having a conversation or within your website or, you know, in your social media, you can talk more about like, this is what it looks like. I do that. You know, I'm like, I have retreats. I do one-on-one coaching. Thank you for coming, Stephanie. Nice to see you.
Me too.
But I don't put all of that in my mission statement, like, and I do that via 3-day retreats and coaching groups and like, this is not the place for that. Yes. So when you think about streamlining and optimizing, those are great words actually to use for your mission statement as well. So think about what can somebody expect to get as a result of working with you. They're optimizing, they're streamlining. Streamlining is so appealing. You know, there are a bazillion things we have to do as business owners. Wouldn't it be nice if I could streamline? Yeah, it would be. Yep. So I would focus on those. And then what do they, as a result, will they grow their business? Will they be happier? Will they get more clients? Or, you know, whatever your particular result is. Anybody else want to share what you're coming up with? Anybody online? Lil, go for it.
I'm feeling mine is too wordy.
Okay.
I work with curious people who feel their uniqueness to bring them out of their vanilla world and into a world of color so that they can show off their unique self with their artistic offerings. Too much unique in there.
Too much unique. I would take out that first phrase that says unique because you say it later. You don't need it in both places. I love the step out of the vanilla world. I mean, I love that, but I don't think you need unique twice. And I think taking that out is probably, you know, really good draft.
I think the hardest part I have is finding the niche of people that I want to work or that would like what I offer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's, you know, that's the dirty little secret of this statement is you have to know who you work with, right, in order to do this. So you have to really do the deep dive into who exactly is my client. And this is a whole other workshop. Honestly, we could do this for hours, but it's like, who is your ideal client? You know, imagine having a conversation with that person and asking questions. What are the answers? Like, you want to know the answers to all of your questions. And you don't, it's not just the demographics, it's the psychographics. What does this person believe? What is this, what's keeping this person up at night? You know, you really, and the way I do it is to think about somebody I've worked with who is a total ideal client. And then in my head, I'm having this conversation and I'm writing it all out. You can also, here's the other thing, and I'm finding myself saying this to a bunch of clients, you can ask other, you know, people who have worked with you, you can ask them questions to help you figure this out. You don't have to do it in a vacuum. I get my best information like, okay, how did I help you? What was most valuable? You know, and sometimes I'm surprised, like, oh, that really, okay, great. Good, good.
I've done that. And I also, the thing is that I'm selling artwork, which is an emotional thing, but it's not something that people are up at night wondering, oh, what am I going to put on my wall tomorrow? So I have a problem with that. I don't know how to, I'm not solving an issue that way. I'm filling a feeling, but usually it's more of a spontaneous thing where they see something and they're like, oh, I've got to have that. And I'm not quite sure how to make that, how to deal with that.
I would ask some people who have bought your stuff, what did this do for you? Because you're really, there's a sense of enriching, there's a sense of, you know, improving their environment, adding to their environment, making them happy, making them smile, right? You're not solving like a dire problem of like, I'm not making enough money, right? That's not the type of problem you're solving, but you are solving a problem for them. Otherwise they wouldn't be buying your artwork. How's everybody else doing?
Needs more work, but
yeah,
the gist of it is there.
Good, good. Yeah, if you can get, once you get the gist down, then it becomes easier, and just keep playing and try different things. You know, if you think I want this wording, but maybe I want this wording, try it. And you can also ask other people like, hey, how does this land for you? You know, you can ask your own clients or ask people who know what you do really well. Be careful who you ask. You know, you don't want to get a million opinions, and you want it to be somebody who will give you a valuable opinion, not just, you know, don't ask my mom is what I'm saying. I think it's great, honey.
Your mom or my mom?
Don't ask anybody's mom, unless your mom is your ideal client.
Yeah. Or your friends, be careful.
Yeah, be careful of asking your friends.
Yeah,
100%. 100%. I only go to my husband for specific things. My husband is a very successful businessman and totally different industry, totally different thing, you know, so he'll say like, I just don't understand why you do it like that. I'm like, because that's what I do. And that's what my people want. Okay, great. You know, he's supportive of it, but he doesn't understand. So, and that's okay. He's not my main sounding board. Not for that anyway. All right. Okay, so it is probably like 1:01 and I want to respect everybody's time. So I want to see if there's any last questions or comments. I want to remind you of these resources that I have, and I will email those of you who showed up this information as well, so you have it.